Well, this is episode 11 of Jack Duly's show, and this is the biggest guest to date, to be honest. A guy who I've been to see on multiple occasions, and now he's on the podcast. So it's a bit of I'm trying not to be a fanboy at the minute, but it's a good learning curve for me. Next generation noise. How's it going, man?
Good man, thanks for having me on, lad.
No, that's all good. Mate, we'll just honestly just start with your DJing career. Sort of, when did you know you wanted to become a DJ?
It's a bit of a mad one really because you know when you're like a little kid and you're looking in like the Argos catalogue at like things you want, I was always drawn to DJ decks.
Mm.
But at the same time, when I was a kid, I'd pick something up and I'd put it down 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
So like by the time I was starting to look at DJ decks, my mum and dad were not buying them because you'd use them for 5 minutes. But I mean, obviously that's what it's fucking turned out to be. Um, and then as I was growing up, I started doing Thai boxing and MMA and stuff. And then it was when I hit like 18, and then obviously I started going out and getting into like the local scene in Liverpool with like Garlands and stuff. And then we went to BCM in Magaluf and seeing Nervo. And luckily, one of the security guards let me in to the DJ booth to get a picture. And obviously, getting the view from like that perspective, I was like, yeah, this is sick, man. So yeah,
I mean, like for when I've like done a bit of DJing myself and stuff, it sort of always just started like I would be the person, for example, house parties who would make the playlist, and people would be like, "Oh, go and get Jack's phone." Do you think like little things like that? Did that was you always a DJ at some of your friends like after parties, house parties, and do you think that contributed at all?
um, at house parties and stuff, not really, no. But again, like house parties were kind of before I was really starting to get into the scene. To be honest, 'cause obviously house parties are when you can't really go out. So you're like 15 to maybe 16, 17, 18. Um, yeah, when I was in the gym with like Thai box and stuff, it'd always be my phone on as well. So maybe a little bit of that, yeah.
And then obviously, like, what DJs in your when you were coming up that just inspired you? Like, I mean, yeah, just what people did you think I want to be like them one day? That's going to be me. Like, who were them people?
Yeah, probably the first one would be Layback Luke,
Mhm.
definitely. Um, have you been to Victoria Warehouse in Manchester?
Yeah, I was just about to say he was there when at the Hellfire with W and Blaster Jackson then and
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
great.
So my first proper event or rave that I went to was his Super You and Me night
Mhm.
there, which is themed around superheroes. So everyone dresses up in like a superhero costume. And who else was on? I think Chainsmokers were on before they got like really big. Maybe two Jammer. You can definitely still find the lineup. Um, but yeah, after seeing Luke, I was like, oh my God, like this is sick. And then ever since then, like obviously through social media and that, I've been lucky to stay in contact with him.
Mm.
So yeah, that was yeah,
Wicked.
that's pretty cool.
I just want to like ask, so sort of when you're DJing, like maybe at these events you do, or if it's just something like you put together yourself, like how does like a crowd reaction affect you? You've probably lucky enough to have more good reactions and a few off ones, but on the off occasion that there's a bit of a crack crowd, and how do you process that, and then what do you do? Where do you go from there?
So it's in this day and age now, you'll find a lot of people plan
Mm.
their whole set from like start to finish. So like if like you say, if you do have a crowd that's not feeling it, then you kind of a little bit stuck because you haven't got the experience to play on the fly. and start to read the crowd. So I'll generally make a playlist of a couple of tracks that I think will work, a couple of tracks that I'd like to play, and then the rest of the set I'll just play whatever I feel is working. So if I play a track and it gets a good reaction, then I'll probably keep going down that route for a little bit. If I play a track and it gets like a shit reaction, then I'll probably steer away from that. So yeah.
I think I was speaking to Ben Singh who come on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. He was at Hellfire and he was at Creamfields as well. And when I saw you at Creamfields, I think we made the same point as when we saw Ollie James at Creamfields, unbelievable, a top guy. We felt that sort of his set was commercialized more to people who was in there because I'm a big Ollie James fan. You know, there was no the old school, you know, them type of tunes. It would be sort of a mix of just popular songs, but with his type of remix on.
Mm.
How come do you think why do you think that is the case? Do you think it's just because he wanted to please everybody there? And if he come out and like I say he was playing old school and all them type of tunes, people would be like, well, only the diehard fans would like that. Why do you think he took that path?
I think playing a lot more commercial remixes or bootlegs, it gives you an opportunity to reach a wider audience because there might be a lot of people in that tent who don't really know an Ollie James track off by heart, but they can maybe sing along to the breakdown of whatever the commercial remix is. So you kind of like you say with like reading crowds, like you're kind of winning the crowd over with the track that they know, and then you can give them the part of the track that they don't really know, and then if they like it, then obviously they turn into like a fan of you or yeah.
And so I don't forget, I've been meaning to ask this, many of the DJs who have had on. When you're when the crowd and some people will go ooh, ooh, or anything like that, to me, hate it. I absolutely hate it. In like the nightclubs, they'll do it and shit like that. But what are your stances on that? Are you just so in the zone? You're like, oh, saying what they want. Do you know what I mean? Or
Mate, I don't care.
yeah,
I don't care. Like if you're having fun, you're having fun.
that's
It
good.
doesn't bother me. And the thing as well is like I like to play off crowd interaction as well. Like I like to be as involved with the crowd as possible. So if people are shouting like "whoop, there it is,"
Yeah,
I'll filter the music out so the rest of the crowd can hear it. And then although there'll be a lot of people that maybe dislike it, 99 times out of 100, most of the rest of the crowd will start shouting it as well.
yeah, yeah.
So like I'll always try and play off things like that.
And at Hellfire, you got flashed. Is that the like?
Yeah,
Have you had any other weird fan interactions, or is that just the standard?
I don't think so.
No. I saw that video on the Instagram. I've seen it a few times, and that was, what.
Oh mate, that caught me off guard, you know. That was funny. That was funny.
And then back to Creamfields. Sort of after you've done your set, did you do Creamfields after that as a fan, or whatever?
Yeah,
You just
yeah,
stayed there and
yeah. So we played on the Thursday and then Friday, Saturday we came back again. Um, Mostly networking really, and obviously going to see some artists that I wanted to see. And then I had another show in Liverpool on the Sunday. So I think I just stayed here on the Sunday.
Who did you actually go and see at Creamfields yourself?
Fucking hell. I'm trying to go through it day by day.
Yeah.
We were in the trance tent a lot,
Mm-hmm.
which is shocking for me because I'm not like a massive fan of trance. Um, yeah, seeing Fisher, um, Getter, honestly, mate, we didn't see that many. We were just fucking networking a lot. Didn't see too many.
And well, I mean, David Guetta, he was quality. In your
Yeah.
opinion, who do you think like the number one DJ in the world at the minute is? I think for me, it would be David Guetta. I think from what he's changed, from obviously, just his radio tracks. I know a lot of his tracks are on the radio now, still, but just to go from like his future rave and how he's evolved and just carried on and carried on. In my opinion, he's the number one, but I don't know who would you say is the number one DJ in the world.
For me, I enjoy the technical aspect of DJing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take that into consideration. And I'm going to go with James Hype
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because his technical ability is literally through the roof. And funny story is that I used to do club PR for a lot of the clubs in Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to play at those clubs when he was just a local DJ.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be like doing club PR and I'd see him running from club to club, he'd have like different sets.
Yeah.
So like I think when you see a lot of big time, like super big time DJs like maybe David or Martin, it's a little bit more difficult to relate to them because you kind of see them put on the pedestal that like the PR and the media give them. But then for me personally anyway, to see someone like James come from literally a local DJ and then develop his producing and yeah, it's number one for me.
Do you ever like find yourself when you're watching somebody you like, ever like just putting yourself in their shoes, or I wouldn't say critically evaluating, but thinking, oh, that's a good transition, that's quality. Do you ever feel yourself?
Every time,
Yeah.
every time.
Mm.
Even it's hard to differentiate and listen and enjoy solely as a fan because I'm listening how I can improve my sets or my track selection or my mixing ability. So I'm always watching a little bit more closely than maybe just enjoying the moment kind of thing.
Mm. And then I want to ask sort of how it comes about with sort of the sets you do or the events you're at. So, for example, Hellfire, the Blackpool one you did outside, that's a similar sort of lineup to the one that's going to be in Manchester again, and you're there as well. Is it the only way I could describe it if in football terms would be kind of a football manager will have his backroom staff. Is that sort of how it works with them events, or is it sort of just randomized each time? Or for example, you might follow Ben Nicky around quite a bit or whoever like that. Is that how it works, or is it, like I say, is it just randomized?
So generally you'll have a booker or a promoter, and that promoter may own an event. So I think I'm gonna get them mixed up. It's either Hellfire or Hard Generation. I think the one in I should absolutely know, but I think the one in Blackpool was Hard Generation, and the one in Manchester is Hard Generation as well. So they're going to be relatively similar lineups because that brand has a certain following of a certain crowd, so they have to then cater to that crowd.
Do you think that you have to sort of because I mean there's no doubt for the like you say Hard Generation in Manchester, Ben Nicky's obviously presenting his extreme. You've got Darren Styles, you've got TNT, people like that who are very like hard type of music. Will you have to filter your sort of music you play or not? Well, I mean you fairly range in some of the stuff you play, but do you have to tweak it to the event?
Somewhat, yes. For me, it depends on time. So if I'm playing an opening slot, I can get away with playing a lot more of the houseier stuff because obviously you're not going to play hard style at fucking 10 p.m. Do you know what I mean? Similar to how the Hellfire that was in Victoria Warehouse about this time last year, they had DOD open and then Laid Back Luke. So although that's like a super hard event, you still have a bit of a lighter sound to open up. So generally, if I'm playing early, I can play a bit more of what I prefer to play. Or if I so happen to get put on after, then I've kind of just got to play to that time slot, really.
What is it like, sort of, if you're opening and, for example, you won't be many people will slowly start filtering in. I mean, but I couldn't describe it. So at my uni, we've got a nightclub that's now shut down. Terrible place. But they went all out, and I mean, I'll be careful what I say. You have to bear with me. The fire alarm's gone on. it's it's just being in a uni house, mate. But I'm hoping it doesn't carry on. But as I was saying, in this nightclub, like I said, we're going to be careful what I say, but they went all out and brought Sigma to this nightclub. And DOD was there as well after. And no word of a lie, from when Sigma came in, 20 people in there. No word of a lie, 20 people in there. And that probably stayed 30 people maximum. How does it affect you if you, for example, you open and you're not got many people in, and or do you just get on with it? How do you sort of?
You've just got to get on with it because at the end of the day, you're booked and you're there to play.
Mm.
So as long as you're fulfilling your end of the bargain, then you just got to get on with it. Even if that promoter, and you'll find this a lot now, is there's a lot of competition now.
Mm.
So back in the day, you could just book anyone on a lineup, throw a couple of posters around the city, and you might not sell out, but you'll get a couple of hundred people through the door. And you'll find a lot of promoters now will do that. They'll book a lineup and just hope it promotes itself.
Mm.
And the sad thing is, it just doesn't. Promoting events is tough. Promoting events is hard. And you've just got to hope that the promoter has done their end of the bargain and promoted the event properly. Because at the end of the day as well, it is down to you to promote the event because at the end of the day, you're on the lineup. And if you then have an event with no people, it doesn't look good on your name as well. So it is kind of like a little bit of give and take. Yeah.
And sort of like with the people that you'll do these concerts with, I mean, you've got Darren Styles, Ben Nicky, and like at Blackpool, obviously Scooter were there. Do you get time to see these people and speak to them?
Generally, if they're hanging about, a lot of artists you'll find that if they have a busy tour schedule or a busy travel schedule, they'll literally be in on stage and out.
Hmm.
But generally, if they're hanging around, then yeah.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I saw, or I was lucky enough to see Darren Styles years ago in Sheffield. At Tank, I think it was called. Horrible place. It's been revitalized now, but that photo can never be published on social media for whatever reason. So, fingers crossed, I'm cross paths with him sometime.
Darren's sick, man. He's such a cool guy.
And it just sort of like how he's. I mean, everybody knows who Darren Styles is, really, unless you don't really know your music, But it's sort of what he's come through, and with his music styles, he's quality, man. But I mean, I want to talk because one of my favorite DJs is Ben Nicky. From your time speaking to him, what is he like as a guy?
Yeah, he's sound.
He's
Yeah,
got.
sound. I've not spoken to him that much. I've
Yeah.
not spoken to Ben that much because I think the only times I have spoken to him, he's been in a rush. He's had like a tight schedule. But yeah, he's sound.
I always see like his sort of touring thing, and he is always touring.
Yeah.
Sort of when you like go to different places, how do you like prepare for sort of traveling and stuff, because it can get quite tiring, no doubt, and I think people don't see the
I
hidden.
don't mind traveling.
Yeah.
I don't mind traveling. I'll travel all day. I don't mind. Um, my big travel hack is just sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously if you've got stuff to do, then just work on stuff. But my travel hack is sleep.
Mm.
As like flying or trains, I'll just try and sleep
Yeah.
because then you wake up when you're there, and it's so easy.
Do you have any sort of, when you're just about to go on stage, do you have any, I don't know what you'd call it, just to sort of get yourself in the mood, do you have any sort of, you know what the word I'm looking for, but I can't think of it. Do you have anything like that to get yourself prepped before you go on stage?
Like routines or
Yeah, yeah,
anything,
yeah.
or not really. I kind of I'll generally like to get to the venue maybe half an hour or an hour before
Mhm.
to see what the DJs before me are playing and to see what's kind of working and what's not working. So I know that when I do start trying to read the crowd, I've already got a bit of a head start. But other than that, mate, I just like to chill.
Yeah, yeah.
I just like to chill.
I see a lot of different things with some DJs. Like, some DJs are very, I won't say strict, but they have some DJs drink on stage, some don't. Do you find it helps you if you drink on stage, or do you stay away from that?
I'll have two bevies.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. I'll drink after, no problem. But when I'm playing, I like to be fully aware of what's happening because
Mm.
I like to mix fast or change track fast or just take a different direction. So if I'm hammered, like that's just not happening. So yeah, I'd rather be aware of what's going on properly and then just get fucking hammered after.
Yeah, I see a lot of videos on YouTube and people talking of like just DJs on stage, they've drunk too much and they're obviously not aware of what's going on. But and I'm like you, I couldn't see past trying to ruin that moment you've got.
Yeah.
'Cause I saw a DJ the other day and I can't. It was a woman DJ and I can't remember, but she had to come out and say
Yeah.
that she was just mangled and
Yeah.
you just ruin it because the amount of people who've gone there to pay money and
The thing is as well, you've also got to respect that you're getting paid a decent amount of money, and you're getting paid a decent amount of money because people have came and paid the money.
yeah,
So yes, it is your moment to also have fun, but you also owe them, in my opinion, a good night. Like you could be turning up to this event and there could be no one in there, but you're not. These people have came out to support you, came out to support the event, come out to essentially keep you earning a living, and you're just going to be hammered and just not give them a good experience. It's like it's not a good exchange. So
mm.
yeah,
And I want to sort of talk about your like career goals now. Is what you've got no doubt got your ideal sort of pathway, but what is your ultimate goal? Have you got a venue you want to be, at sell out or just perform at? Have you got an artist you want to open up for? What would you say it is?
I don't, I don't, I don't know if there's one. I don't know if there's one absolute pinnacle goal because I want to achieve everything. I want to achieve as much as physically possible. So I don't know. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to say just one thing. Like eventually, I'll headline Tomorrowland. Eventually, I'll headline Ultra, EDC, everything. So to say like one thing, I don't know. Like everything,
Yeah.
just absolutely everything, lad.
Mm. What type of what would you say is the best sort of event you've done yourself? That it could be crowd. To be fair, it doesn't have to be crowd reaction. It's just a set that you've done and for. I absolutely smashed that. And what place has that been at?
Probably my favorite show was Hard Generation last year
Mhm.
on Blackpool
Yeah,
because that was just fucking mad. That was just mad. I was literally stood there as I was scrolling through picking some tracks and like I kind of just looked up and there was like the sea out to the left, the Blackpool Tower to the right,
Yeah.
and like 3 or 4 thousand people in front of me. I was like, what the fuck is my life here? Like, this is mental. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was sick because I don't know, for some reason I thought it was going to be opening. So I thought it was going to be quiet.
Yeah.
And then obviously when I got there, it was like 60, 70% full already. And I was like, okay, shit, this is cool. And I actually thought, funny story as well, I actually thought I was going to be late for that. Because were you there?
Yeah. Yeah. I was. Yeah.
Yeah. What time did you get there? Had you been there all day?
What is into Blackpool or the event
Yeah,
itself?
yeah.
We probably checked into our B&B a couple of hours before it, so yeah, probably most of the time we was playing there
Did
plenty of time.
did you hit traffic coming into Blackpool?
Yeah, on the whatever motorway it is, yeah, because
Yeah,
yeah,
mate, we hit
yeah,
traffic so bad. I think I parked up with about 10 minutes to spare.
yeah,
And I was coming from Liverpool, my manager was coming from Manchester, and even he got stuck in loads of traffic as well. So like, yeah, I thought we were gonna miss it,
mm.
but we didn't.
Nah, that Blackpool thing that was that was brilliant for me. Like you say, sort of when it went fully dark and the tower was lit up and the seagulls
Yeah.
had gone in and that they but no, that was a brilliant one. The only thing the reason I didn't like, well, I loved it, but the day when we woke up, mate, we went swimming and in that thing, mate, and you can imagine, like we were stood queuing for this like slide and was like looking at each other like, mate, why have we done this? Like,
Not a chance, mate.
no, yeah, that was the only downfall, but I think that was unbelievable. Just like it was a summary, like outside. That was my first outside event, bar Creamfields and stuff. It was just a quality setting.
That was my first open air stage. So
Mm,
obviously I've played Creamfields twice, but they've both been intense.
yeah.
So they still kind of feel like in.
Hmm.
Whereas that was my first like open air. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Sort of, like you say, that with your hard generation promotion and then your Hellfire stuff, like, did that exact promotion provide all the lighting and the sound, or is it just based on the venue?
every show is probably going to be different.
Uh-huh.
Um, I imagine, and I don't know this for certain, I'm just guessing. I imagine that they'll have hired a events company to run the the lighting, the sound, the stage, um, and they may even hire in companies in different venues. More than likely, it'll be hired in because different. So if you were to take a venue like Victoria Warehouse, for example,
Mm.
who host a variety of different artists, a lot of different artists are going to have different rider specifications. So what equipment they want, what sound systems they want. So if you were to buy in your own sound system, it might not be adequate for a lot of artists. So it's probably better if you're a venue owner
Mhm.
to just hire in the sound for each time.
Yeah. Mm. I think if you played at Ministry of Sound before in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I'm going there on Friday for the Ben Nicky thing. What's that like as a venue? Because I've never been personally.
Have
Uh,
you not been to Ministry?
my mate just said that it's loud. That's all he said. I don't know. What?
I, I think I might be wrong. I think Ministry is the loudest in the UK.
Right.
I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Ministry's sick, lad.
Mm.
Um, there's one, two, three, four. There's 4 rooms in Ministry.
Yeah.
Um, 2 downstairs, 1 upstairs, and then the main room.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll have a good time in Minnesota. It's sick.
Is it like, because I think like some places, I mean, for Ben Nicky and like the one, my mate just says it's, well, from the pictures I've seen, I don't want to say it looks too small because I've never been, but is it a decent size for? Because Ben Nicky's got a good fan base and the people who are going to be there, and no doubt what you did would have had a lot of people in. Is it still a comfortable environment to be in? It's not like, crammed in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
sick, sick.
Um, what tickets have you got? Have you got standard
Yeah,
tickets?
just normal, yeah. Because we just
Yeah,
me and my girlfriend going, so we looked at a table, but you can only get them for like 4 people and 6 people.
yeah,
Like I say, I'm only going reverse, so
yeah, yeah. You'll have a good time, lad.
it's quality. Right, we're gonna come to sort of talk towards the end now. I'm gonna leave you with a fun question. I like to ask most musicians this. The Next Generation Noise Festival. Okay, so we're going to have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You're going to have 3 headliners, and it's up to you.
Okay.
Choose one or two people to open up for them. Who are we saying? Who's going to be there?
Oh, this is tough. Um, we're gonna have to have Fisher on
Yeah.
one day,
Mm-hmm.
even though, right, he's got me blocked on Instagram, and I don't know why.
I saw that you had a photo with him, so I don't know. Maybe
I don't know why, but he's fucking blocked me, and I can't wait to see him because I'm gonna find out. I don't know why. Don't know why, but he's blocked me.
is
Uh,
that
but
in Fisher? Come on.
but yeah, I'd have Fish. That's tough, man. I'd have to have Fish, Chris Lake.
Tougher than you think.
Oh, mate, there's so many. And either James Hype or Martin Aiken or Ikin, however he says it.
Yeah,
Either of those.
nice.
But
No,
yeah.
that's a good one. I don't think my stance has really changed from it. To be fair, I think I'd have said I'd have said Armin van Buuren. I mean, he's my favourite DJ of all time. He's going to be on there. Getter will be on there. But I put Ben Nicky in there. And then, like you say, when you're looking for the opening acts, it's tough because there's just so many who are good enough to be, the headlining acts. Do you know
Mate,
what,
there's so many.
mate? I didn't put him this time, but I was just thinking how unbelievable he was. Creamfields. I'm going to put Dematic in there. I'd never seen him before, and I never even knew who the guy was.
Do you
And
know what? Yeah, Thematic's super sound because the the first time I played Victoria Warehouse main room, I was opening and he was on after me.
mm,
Now, as an opening DJ, you obviously you can't take the piss and play like hits because obviously it ruins the dynamic of the night. But at the same time, like I'm not just gonna play fucking elevator music. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like this is my time to have a bit of fun as well. So like obviously I'll play a couple of tunes and then I'll push it a little bit and then I'll bring it back. And then I'll play a couple, I'll push it a little bit and bring it back. Kind of like, just like teasing the crowd as well. Because obviously you are warming the crowd up. And then obviously he's come onto stage to take over. And I could see he was going to say something, and then I'll change the track. And then literally, I was speaking to him after the set, and he was like, "Mate, that warm up was perfect. Like, I thought I was gonna maybe have to ask you to tone it down, but like, you brought it down." So I was like, "Yeah, fair." So yeah, he's a super sound guy.
um, and then like I said, after that. There's just too many. But mate, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I'll link in all your socials in the bio and your latest singles and stuff. And any of your upcoming events. And I'll see you at Hard Generation in April, man. Um,
Yeah, sick. Thanks for having me on, lad.
No worries, mate. I'll stop that now.